All right, everyone, welcome. Thanks for joining us today. We are live right now on CannaBuzz over on cannabuzz.app or in our app, which you can download on iOS or Android. Just search CannaBuzz. And we're hanging out tonight with GoStoner. He is a content creator, a musician. He plays drums. He's a big music fan. He's also, I've been calling you a smoking gadget connoisseur because I wasn't sure how to kind of encapsulate your kind of realm of expertise. But nonetheless, you are super prolific. So if you're out there, you've probably seen GoStoner's content on like every platform that exists. And so I'm excited to hang out today and learn a bit more about you and what you've been up to, and your kind of whole journey. And of course, I'm joined by my colleague right here. He's down below me, JR Token. We both founded CannaBuzz a few years ago, so we're stoked to hang out with you guys today. But so Mr. GoStoner, should we call you GoStoner?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Mr. Stoner, Mr. Stoner. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and I would love to hear, but after your kind of intro to your channel or however you kind of want to intro yourself, I'd love to hear like how you got started creating content in the cannabis space.
You got an hour?
Yeah, we have exactly an hour.
It's unfortunately it's not a short story. It's been I'm a long-term lifer. Been smoking for over 20 years. Never in a legal state. So kind of started early, not with my content, but like on my path to create content. Starting out, lived in New Jersey, spent time getting arrested a couple times, prison, and saw the wrong side of the system. And while other people around the country were starting to live their life, all my friends and I were like, hey, what about us? So when me and my wife, before she was my wife, went to Amsterdam, we kind of saw how it was in a kind of like a country aspect of how free, legal, normalized it was. And I would kind of, being over there, was like, how the fuck do I myself, my dumb little ass who nobody knows, bring that here in some way, shape, or form? So I didn't want to do it as myself. I knew there had to be a community involvement, right? So I had a bunch of friends that smoked and was like, hey, I'm going to start this website and we're just going to create content, do reviews of movies, music, food, and silly bits, whatever we could get from other people that are like-minded, we're going to share it. So that's how it kind of started back in 2015 or so. My wife and I went on our honeymoon to Colorado, to Denver, when it was just legalized. We got to experience that. It was like, holy shit, this should be everywhere. Now that we're seeing it in our country at that forum where people are walking into dispensaries and kind of being travel, kid in a candy store and be like, oh my God, this is great. How do we bring that to the places? How do they see how normal this is here in New Jersey, New York, the South, for example, which is one of the worst areas in the country to see this. They don't know, it's all Bible Belt shit. So any way to get this to their view, I wanted to do. So we did the website. I met a bunch of people, started that journey. And after a long time in creating another platform, they were like, hey, dude, you got to put your face in front as well. Everybody else is doing it. You kind of have to do it. My wife is even doing it. So that's kind of how I started. There was a bunch of companies that reached out, wanted to get me products, and started just doing reviews that way. But at first was doing like little jam sessions on the drums, playing along to songs that I liked and teaching people about those, doing silly videos in the kitchen where I would bake stoner foods like pizza popcorn or French toast pizza, which if you ever make French toast pizza, if you haven't, you need to. And silly things like that. And then it kind of just snowballed from there to where I am today.
Well, so when did this start? When did you kind of start creating cannabis content? What year do you think that was?
I believe it was like 2019. So the company that we started, I work for, we created an app. We had a huge launch for it, and they were like, "Hey, this is if any time you're gonna show people who the fuck you are, it's about time you do it now." So I unveiled and was like, "Hey, all right, let's do some content." Did a whole week of, like I just mentioned, silly things, an introduction of who the hell I was to the community, because 3-4 years before that I was just sharing everybody else for the most part, and news and whatever I could to normalize the cannabis in its space. And that's how it started back in about 4/20 2019, pretty much.
So
Awesome.
when you started posting content, were you posting the same content on different platforms, or were you doing different content for each platform?
No, it's the same, pretty much same content for every platform. I didn't do TikTok back then. That's only relatively new. Within a year, I've been kicked off there fucking 5 times. But every platform gets pretty much the same content. Goes right to my YouTube, and that's pretty much it. Other than like Instagram, so like Reels, things like that, little bits, memes. I kind of just left that for Instagram for a long time. Now I'm kind of sharing that everywhere, but for the most part, that was just for Instagram. That was my main source.
Interesting. Yeah, and so you've been creating content for all these different platforms for a while now. It's been super interesting because I'll find you on other platforms. Like I'll just like there he's here too, and it's like amazing how much stuff you're just so prolific. I guess. Um,
I feel like you need to, if you want to be seen, right? You got to be
yeah,
everywhere. And here's the other part, as you know, with the cannabis space, we all get deleted. It's not welcome within the main platform. So if you have content, put it elsewhere on platforms where you're not going to lose it. So if those platforms are out there, like a CannaBuzz, I'm really grateful for you guys doing what you're doing. These are spaces that we need to be promoting and putting our content.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we just lost the Do Grow Show on YouTube, and they had kind of just put all their eggs in one basket, and now that their channel got yanked, they're scrambling to get posted on other platforms and get people to know,
Yeah,
hey, you can find us here, there, wherever,
it's
So
tough
yeah,
starting
that
over. You guys know that. I'm sure you had to start over many times, which is probably why you
Yeah.
built the platform.
yeah, it's kind of why we started it. I was one of the first wave of YouTube channels to get taken down.
All right. Okay.
And so I was very bitter about that. And so I hit up Q, and we kind of got together and started CannaBuzz.
Yeah.
Too bad we get together at the same time. What time did you guys get together? What year was that? 2018?
We launched in April of 2019. It would have been. Yeah, so we like met at the end of 2018 and then kind of started talking about the idea at the very beginning of 2019.
Oh, nice.
Um, but so yeah, so you've been doing this content for a while. How long like are you doing this full time now being a cannabis content creator, or is this kind of something that you do for fun, or on top of your other stuff?
Yeah, I would say most for fun. It's a
Yeah.
hobby. Right? Like I'm gonna be smoking weed anyway. I love products. Who doesn't love going to the fucking head shop and getting the new bong, the new pipe,
Mhm.
the new vape, whatever it is, and then bringing it over to your buddy's house and showing them what it is. So I was always that guy with my friends. For the most part, I would always have the new toy, and with this, it just kind of came naturally that when these companies were sending me the products, I was able to transform what I would normally be doing with my buddies at their house or here into just 5 to 10 minute long videos, and just sitting there doing what I fucking would normally do with my wife or my buddies.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been fun to kind of do that, and then obviously it snowballs into you making money, but it's not something I'm doing full time. I have a career. I've been doing it for over 20 something years, and probably going to die doing it as well.
That's cool. That's really cool. So that's so interesting. Do you have, so since you create so much stuff, and you have videos, it seems like basically every day that you're posting.
Yep.
Do you have like an editor that edits your stuff for you? It's
I'm
you.
the guy. Yeah, man. So at
So
first, when we first started, my buddy Tab, take a break with Aaron and Mo. They were buddies of mine who helped me build GoStoner. They did the first like 3 or 4 till my wife learned it. Then she did the first few, and then I kind of took over Shit, I don't know, maybe like 3 to 4 months within doing it, because I felt like there was a disconnect between how I was talking and doing my video here, and then how it got edited. I didn't feel like it was myself. And I'm ADD. I'm kind of all over the place, and it was very structured and professional. Like, I'm not that guy. It just ever. So I needed to feel a little silly, and I'm very self-deprecating. So I like having, people, gifts and shit, just like making fun of me when I say something silly, just something silly, because my friends would bust my chops. You would bust my chops if I said something silly. Like, I expect that. So I wanted that in my videos, and that's kind of what I started doing. And now I love fucking editing videos and growing. And now I'm trying to start getting into more of the music editing, like live concert footaging, shit like that, and making those vibe really well. That's been really fun for the last month or so. And I'm not good at it at all. I'm really trying to learn. That's like one of the hardest things to do, I think, is concert editing.
Interesting. Really interesting. So, wow. So you're editing content, you're creating all this content. Are you basically creating a video like every day? Or do you create it on like certain days of the week and then other days you're editing, or like, what's your kind of like situation?
Dude, it all depends on how much I have to do, for example, or if I have an idea of something, like those bits that you see, those comedy bits, those happen pretty much almost instantaneous, unless I have to wait for my wife to get home from work, or we do it on the weekends or something like that. But the reviews, it's you when I'm done with work, for the most part, or before on the weekends, I'll bang out 2 to 3 if I have to. So I'm like really lit when I'm doing them. So honestly, no matter what review you've seen, I'm fucking lit. Prior, after, no matter what, I've been blazing the whole fucking time. So usually I try to do them in the morning, so it's a nice fresh wake and bake right after I wake and bake. So I'm like really with it. But most of the time it ends up at night. I try to get like 2 or 3 done at a time if I can.
Yeah.
So with content over the year, how long have you been doing this?
Since 2019, so 3 years now, 3 full years.
So over those 3 years, you've noticed that there's been different trends within the community. Like it went from I don't know, BHO, and now rosin's really huge. And so do you kind of follow those trends, or do you just kind of do your own thing?
Yeah, dude, I smoke weed just like you, man. Probably like the OG guys and the old school guys. I don't really care what it is. It's got to be good, obviously. We're not going to smoke boof around. You guys aren't going to smoke it. But when it comes to making videos and those trend things, don't like doing the lip syncing things. As a musician, it's kind of, I hate to say it's Milli Vanilli-ish, but it is. So I hate doing that. And it's the originality is lost. That's so I try to find where you're creating your own joke or your own content and using your own voice throughout the videos. I think that's extremely important.
Let's see. We had a couple comments come in on the live stream. OG Lux said, when you were talking about doing your own editing, they said, "Atta dude, I respect you even more for editing your own stuff. Nice job." And then Flippin' Loud said, "Thanks for leaking me." They said, "Thanks for linking me in a ton of your videos."
He's a good dude. I love his content. He's a great editor as well. Very high quality content. Thank you, Flippin'. That means a lot.
That's really cool. So it was interesting to hear about how, or I'd love to kind of learn more about what's it like when you're getting sent this stuff from these companies that make this stuff. Are they, I imagine by now a lot of them are kind of coming to you. In the beginning, were you reaching out to people and like asking to get hooked up? And
no, it's funny how it all started, and I'll tell you that in a second.
Yeah, no, I like the Sherlock pipe, or
the JD. This thing is incredible, dude. He's a craftsman. He's doing the new Pete, the new Puffco version of this, the wood one. Very cool. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question.
It's all good. So, another question I had, and I don't, I think it's really interesting to connect with you, because the cannabis content creator and content, or like cannabis influencer space, to me is interesting. because like I think there's some money that people like. Some people are making money, especially it seems like people in LA or whatever, where they maybe they team up with like some LA or California cannabis brands. Um, but also, obviously, there's all this censorship stuff, and your account could get deleted overnight. And there's all this kind of like crazy bullshit. So you're not. It's not like you're a influencer. Like there's an influencer for gaming or for any other, basically, practically any other category. So it's such an interesting space to me that that you're in, where you're trying to kind of create content. And do you find that these companies, like we were talking earlier, are you often getting paid for these reviews? Or are they kind of sending in stuff? And have you seen that kind of business pick up, or is it kind of slowing down? Like, what's that kind of space like for a cannabis content creator?
I guess it all depends on quality of content. That's the most important thing. And at first, it was slow. Like I mentioned before, I was doing a lot of free work. So when companies out, I would most like, hey, yeah, sure, whatever you need, buddy. I'm happy to share whatever it was. But I also knew my quality of content wasn't the best. So it helped me practice to get to where, a year later, I was getting some of the bigger companies that were reaching out, like, and saying, hey, like, I like your content. Would you like to try this? So I do things pro bono a lot of the times. But yes, I also get for a lot of them as well. Mostly CBD products, because honestly, that's not something I'm going to be using on a day-to-day basis. And it has to be like a product that I use like a lot. Like if it's a bong for the most part, or a group of bongs, I'll normally do that pro bono, because that's something I'm going to be using fucking every day. For the most part. If it's a product that I'm going to use once in a while, most likely I'll be like, hey, I'm never going to use this. I'll probably never shout it out. So it would be beneficial if you pay for this one or something like that. But it helps. It definitely helps to beef up that content and make me feel like a little better about it at the end of the day. If I'm doing a pro bono for the most part, because I have an attachment to it now.
Right. Yeah, and sorry, I was just going to say, like, and where I'm coming from with all this is I think there's so many of folks in our community, and a lot of folks, as cannabis becomes legalized and people get, they develop this passion, or they have this passion for cannabis. A lot of us try to figure out, well, how can I work in cannabis? So that's where I'm kind of interested in, and what's it actually like out there as someone who's like getting a glimpse into it, how kind of viable that sort of thing is right now, or does it still seem like it's like super early?
It's viable, man. Again, if you have the quality content and you have engaged followers, it's extremely viable. People do and will make good money in the industry. Companies will pay for that quality content. That's what you got to look for and hope that you're putting out there. That's really the best advice I could give.
Yeah.
A nice quality camera. That's first and foremost. Do that and definitely work on editing. Extremely important.
So with new content creators that are trying to get into the space like you have, what are some of the platforms that you recommend that they put their content on?
Obviously, you guys.
Obviously.
No, I think you guys have a great platform. TikTok is a good one. It's a weird one. It's a tough one to get right, especially for cannabis. You got it. It's tricky. You're going to get deleted a shitload of times, but it's really good. Instagram is still great. YouTube, again, it's a tricky, just like TikTok, hard to build, but it's the quality of followers and engagement you get over there is a lot better. I feel like the followers equal your followers. It's not like on Instagram where you get like an engagement at like a 10% or whatever it is rate. I feel like your engagement over there and the people on YouTube are quality. And Twitter's really fucking good. You could do whatever you want on Twitter. So which is great. It's no holes barred over there. And by linking stuff that goes back to your main source, whether it is Instagram, CannaBuzz, or YouTube, it's very helpful. So I think all those platforms are great to.
So now with YouTube, do you recommend people who are cannabis creators to not monetize their channel to keep away from being looked at?
Yeah, I don't monetize. I still get looked at though. Every video gets a 18 label on it, even if I don't. put it on. I'm sure you guys get that too.
Yeah.
As soon as you're like editing and putting it up, I'm like, no, this is for 18. I'm like, how the fuck did you? Where the hell?
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, but obviously that hurts your reach and shit. So you're not going to get 100,000 views in your videos. But again, the quality of the people that are going to be watching your video is more, I think, way more important at the end of the day.
Yeah, since I started doing age restriction like really well, I haven't received any strikes. Before that, I would say at the beginning, this is for 18 or older, and I would mark it on the YouTube channel, but it wouldn't like say 18 or older. You know how you have to take that extra step?
Yeah.
So I was getting, randomly I would get strikes, but since I went through that process, I haven't received any strikes lately.
Oh, cool. Well, good. Yeah, same here. I got one like from a video way back in the day that I didn't do that on.
Yeah,
it was like a DHC video. So yeah, definitely do that if you're out there. Fucking age restrict your videos, even though it sucks. Do it.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, it also seems like the title and the description is a big part of it, and then also it seems like they may also be analyzing like what people say in videos, and so potentially like the words that you're using.
Yeah, it's really key to stay away from buying or selling things. You know, if you want to buy it here, I'm selling this thing. That really fucking puts up a red flag. That's why you can do cannabis reviews of strains and stuff. Just don't say where the fuck you got it, or don't say where you can get it. Don't say you can get it from me. Because then you're really getting fucked. So,
to tap into your gadget connoisseurness or your gadget, your experience, with so many different things over at least the last few years. Not to mention, your career as a smoker that goes beyond the last few years as a content creator. What are some of your favorites that you've come across? And maybe we'll ask you for some recommendations in various scenarios maybe later. But I would love to hear kind of just off the top of your head, what are some of your favorites in different categories?
The Stundin was a life changer because I just loved gravity bongs growing up in college and always making them. So when I got that in my hands, I'm like, yes, this is amazing. This is something we always wanted. I think everybody needs to have that. Also, the high Toki laser. That thing is just special. Like the way it just works, it's game changing. It is a little pricey. I know there's plans for other things later that might make it a more affordable unit. So when that happens, definitely get that. And I also love the iSpire, the dab from iSpire. I think that's one of the best e-rigs on the market.
What's the laser thing?
The high Toki laser bong?
Yeah, what's that?
That's can you see that up there?
The top right hand corner, it's the black cylinder. Yeah,
I can grab it real quick if you like and show it to you. I don't have any water to pack it, but can turn it on.
Interesting.
So there you go. There's your little laser right there. You can see it. Boop, boop.
Yeah.
Yeah, just it ignites your herbs. Has 3 different temperatures: high, medium, and low, obviously. And fucking vapes your face. Well, it doesn't vape. The first setting kind of vapes it. The high setting eviscerates it. But you get a nice 2 pulls, and boy, the flavor is fucking amazing.
So what's the price to get into something like that?
What's the damage?
Yeah, what's the damage?
I think that's $4.90.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's like volcano status.
It is. I think the discount code might take it down to like $5.30. I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that. But I do have a discount for it. It's a GoStoner Life.
Nice. So yeah, what are some of your favorites? Let's see. Let's start at, we'll go in different categories. If this is cool with you, I'd love to just kind of hear your thoughts, man. So one of the things, the scenarios, especially you were talking about concerts earlier. Mm-hmm. For me, I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, California. It seems like most shows you can sneak in vapes. They don't really seem to give a shit. like if you have weed vape, even though my wife is like not too chill about it. She thinks it's dumb for me. But anyways, it seems like you can get them in. So
Yeah.
what are your recommendations for like a vape cart scenario, or if someone's doing vape cartridges? Do you have kind of any recommendations for that, or any
Yeah.
thoughts?
I love the Vexel. I think that's great. It's very small, compact. It pulls like a motherfucker. The Pulsar Duplo is also great because that one you could have 2 different vape carts in there. So you could switch between your flavors or fucking combine them and rip your face off. So that's just epic. So that's if you're using cartridges. I think for dab pens, anything you can. Literally, just anything you can. It's convenient. It's cheap. And then if you get like a 3-in-1 that has like the dab straw on it, then you could be nectar collecting at a concert if you have that ability. So I think those are the best for that. And for vape pen, I would probably say the Lynx Eden Switch. It's small enough and it's powerful enough.
Yeah.
It's a nice barrel to it, or a PAX. If you have the money to spend, go get a PAX. Definitely.
Right. Packs, though, you're kind of like in their ecosystem, right? Like, do you need like special cartridges for that? Or
Yeah, you don't. Oh no, you don't. Not the PAX Dry Herb unit, just their vape unit.
Yeah.
Oh, that one you could just pack regular. They do have like convection ovens that you could take in, like little travel things and a dock kit that you could throw in. But yeah, it's a convection oven, and you could use those like discs for dabs as well.
So, and maybe you said this in your in that list there, but what are your recommendations for like the portable dab rigs? Like I've got the G Pen something, I forget what it's called, but you can put in a little bit of water in it, and it's pretty nice. I've had a bunch of different things like in that realm. Do you have any recommendations?
That G Pen is great. Also the Stash product Rio, or the Mat. That thing is the best. We take it everywhere you go because with that you're getting this. You know what I mean? On the road, and it's small enough, it's compact enough, has a nice travel case. That's really always our go-to whenever we're traveling. Is the Stash Mat for sure.
Have you tried the Dr. Dabber?
Yes, we have the shit. I'm not gonna remember this. Not the Switch, the one down from it, the Boost. The Evo Boost. I love that thing. It rips your face. You're not really getting the flavor for the most part unless you go in the low setting, but that high setting will fucking wreck you. It's a classic. And the Switch is very expensive. I did get to try it recently at a lounge in Chicago, but it wasn't working too well. And I don't think it was the dabber. I just think they just didn't have it done up right. And they didn't have enough water. Correct. Yeah, it didn't have enough water in it, so the dab kind of got clogged inside, and it just didn't rip right. And that was the only one they had.
Yeah. Are you do you get too into glass? Are you a glass collector or anything like that?
Yes. I have lots of glass because obviously a lot of companies send for reviews and unboxing and stuff, so don't have a lot of like heady stuff that you would normally like want to have, but I have a lot of those like bongs you would see at like this dispensaries or head shops like Cali Bear, for the most, which is this one. I love these guys. Phoenix Star Glass, which is great. MJ Arsenal, another fucking great company. Pulsar, which is again one of my favorites. Anything Pulsar for me, and they're on that cross between kind of heady and head shoppy. They hit the gamut of both. I think Pulsar.
So, if I'm a flower smoker and I really want to get the taste of the weed, you know what I mean? What are some of my best ways to consume at it? If that's my thing, you know what I mean? What should I get?
Dude, I smoke bowls all day, like a regular glass bowl. Look, if you want to taste your chronic, Hempwick and a nice tiny fucking heady glass bowl, you're not gonna get a better taste. And any kind of small bong for the most part, because when you get bigger, obviously you're losing your flavor when you get to the top. So any kind of small, like little like chamber flavor saver barrel, a nice little barrel will be nice. Something to scale. These are perfect. to taste. Dabs and flower. Probably 6 to 8 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sorry,
what are
go ahead.
your go-to products for cleaning all your glass?
Alcohol and salt.
Do you use ice cream salt or do you use regular salt?
It all depends. I try to use the ice cream, but the regular is fine. Whatever's cheaper at the store at the moment. I mean, we all use Formula 420. I used to like Resolution. They were cool. Wow, is this not working? Damn. Boo. I was trying to get a dab that's not plugged in. I'm really sad right now. All right. Let's see if I can plug that in. No. All right. Anyway. Yeah, I think Resolution was really good. I think they're with Ooze now.
Interesting. Oh, JR maybe froze there for a second, I think. Oh, now he's back.
Hi,
And also my dogs are getting excited because I think my wife just got home.
Nice.
So I was on mute there for a second. Well, so interesting. So like I kind of mentioned at the top when I was introducing you, you're a man of many interests. In one video you'll be doing like a close-up shot of doing a dab, and then the next day you're like playing along to usually like kind of a harder rock song or something like that. It seems like is often in the rotation. And then the next one, maybe it's a skit. You're into so many different things. I think that's cool that you have been able to build an audience around that, because if you look at other content creators like on Twitch and stuff like that, you kind of get stuck in a rut where it's like, I have to play this one game or I have to create this like one type of content. Have you found that to be an issue, that you're kind of, like you said, you're ADD, like you're all over the place?
I think it gives you more of ability to take your time on your content, where you're not having to constantly think of the same thing over and over again. It gives you time to relax on your content. Because if you do like 3 drumming videos in a week, you don't have to do 2 drumming videos. You don't have to play drums for a couple of weeks if you don't want to. So when you when I say stacking content, it gives you time for a break. When you're always chasing the dragon, it exhausts you. It really does. And I've done it. Like, we've all done it before. I used to do 2 to 3 posts a day, and it's exhausting and it's unsustainable. And we really need to live our lives. So the more you could branch out and give yourselves, show your talents, show your hobbies, your interests, I feel like that's going to give you more content at the end of the day, and ability to do other silly things and be funnier in your content, because now people know who you are through your personality and what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Right. Totally.
And so now
I was just going to shout out everyone in the chat, because we had a bunch of people throw up like some emojis and stuff like that. So, hey, everyone. Go ahead, JR.
When you edit for your content, can you share with people the product that you use and what how you feel about it?
Filmora Pro is my editing software, and I love it. I think it's great for beginners, which I am. And it gives you that Adobe feeling. If Adobe Pro Cut, which when I got into, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing, bro. I still have no idea. So I've been editing for 2 years in it, and I fucking love it. I think it's great. They have great add-ons and stuff. So if you can get to that level of pro without being a pro.
Nice. I'm gonna ask in the chat right now, but also I'll say it here on the video too. Let us know if you're in chat on the live stream, and if you have any questions for GoStoner, throw them in the chat. He's got a lot of experience with smoking devices, but also creating content, and could probably tell you a bit about like setting up electronic drum kits or something like that. So if you got any sort of questions, just let us know, and we'll dive into it.
Those are some of my favorite videos to do, with the drumming videos, man. I don't post those to Instagram at all. I kind of leave that separate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I leave it to YouTube, and I put it in my story, but I don't put it on my main feed for everybody to see. It's just it's not something that has translated over there, if that makes sense. So there's things that people like watching and they go to over there for that content. But for the most part, that's more of like a YouTube, Twitter thing.
Interesting. It's funny because I, on my non-weed, my like personal Instagram account, Instagram has decided that I just want to watch like skateboarding videos and drumming videos. And so I just get like random drumming videos, people playing along to songs or whatever. So there's definitely a drummer niche on Instagram somewhere out there. Let's see. Flippin' Loud said, question for GoStoner. Why did you beat me to posting this month's DHC box?
I got it quick, bro. I probably got it at the same time you did. I just, had that shit edited and out on the first of the day. I thought you were going to have it too. Fucking, what's his face on Instagram had his video out like 3 days prior. Cali Tricks.
Well, that's the Daily High Club, right? That's the Daily High Club box. Talk about your, because I don't know how many of those things are still around, or if there are a lot of different options for the different, like the club, like the monthly club things. Are you a member of several of them, or are you just kind of a member of that one? And what's your kind of thoughts on that? Because it's been something that I've thought about in the past, but wasn't sure if I wanted to dive in.
So I'm not a member of any of them. They're all sponsored. But Daily High Club was my first one that I got. I actually was friends. So long story short, the company I work for, owned by Tommy Chong and everything. And then also Daily High Club's also involved. Friends with Harrison to help me get started. They got me a box, and one of our first boxes was a theme of that company that I work for. So I did that unboxing, and it always fitting. So ever since then, I was doing those unboxings, and that just led to other companies like Hemper, CannaBuzz, and now I just did my first elevated stash one. There's another company, Happy Blaze Box, that used to do it. Now it's just a head shop store. So there's been a bunch of different boxes that I've done, but for the most part, it's always Daily High Club. That's my OG. That's my number one. Hemper, and then CannaBuzz.
Yeah, and I was just gonna ask about that. Yeah, what's the thoughts on like what if I sign up for a box, and what for? I guess describe it for folks that are listening or watching or whatever. What is, when we're talking about these like monthly club boxes, like what is it? What usually comes in one?
I wish I had everything here. I just have the box. So this is last month's Hemper box. And pretty much inside, oh shit, look at that. I do have stuff in here. Do a little unboxing here. You got like a twisted hemp wrap. You got these quick hitters. These are like one hitters that you go on the road with that you can just fucking trash and throw away. They have flavor to them. These are alcohol swabs that are fucking clutch. If you guys know anything about those are for your banger. Cones. You need the cones. Hemp wick, of course. You get a sticker, and you get their glass, which for this month was this thing. There's this pina colada piece right here. And it's pretty cool. So I love, and it's only like $30 for some are $39, and for $40 fucking glass with all those accessories, it's worth it. And they have the XL pieces. Hemper, I think Daily High Club also does bigger bongs as well. Those are fucking awesome. And you get the box along with them. So it's not just the glass. It's also, all the accessories times like 3. So you get a shitload of blunts, shitload of papers. It's totally worth it, in my opinion.
Nice. We had a question come in from Weed Wizard. He asked, do you grow any of your own weed, or are you buying some, or what's your kind of situation usually?
Always purchasing. Unfortunately, I don't grow. I've never grown. I've never lived in a place where I had the ability to grow. I sold grow lights. I've been in lighting all my life, and we sold grow lights for a long time. But unfortunately, someday, dude, that is my goal. Absolutely. I know you guys are all connoisseurs out there. Some of the best, and I envy you. Totally envy you.
Well, that's, we have our, forgive the pun, but we have our roots basically in the growing scene. because that's, where JR definitely comes from. And my entry into the cannabis scene on like Instagram and stuff like that was through being a grower and trying to learn, basically. And so that's why we created CannaBuzz. In the beginning was like seeing our friends' content getting taken down and wanting a place for people to share, because all of us are trying to learn, or just have fun or whatever, you know what I mean? And so that we were frustrated with the situation.
And it's really important what you guys are doing, because fuck, that's how I'm gonna learn. Just by watching all your content, all you guys out there. Yeah. That's how we're gonna grow too.
So when you're buying weed, what kind of stuff are you looking for? I was gonna make a joke earlier. You were talking about how busy you are. I was gonna say, like, so what kind of sativas are you smoking, man? It's like, you got to have all this energy and do like cranking out content all the time.
Indica, bro. I smoke indica. Because I drink a lot of fucking cold brews, and I have ADD, so I have to balance it out somehow. But yeah, just a lot. We buy enough to keep us going, but I always look for like higher percentages. Anything from like 28 to 32 range is kind of like my sweet spot. 40% when it gets up there, I'm like, okay. It can't be great, and I've had it where it is, but sometimes it's it's a little hokey, and sometimes at 22% it's fire shit. So it all depends, but really indicas. Right now we're smoking LA Gushers, which I love that strain. So something that's like gassy and easily, definitely kind of like my favorite type of shit that we look for.
Interesting. So you like the gas? You want more of that gas out there?
Yeah, we grew up in Jersey, so we had things like the New York Sour Diesel, the OG, and a strain called Redline. I don't know if you are familiar with it. It was
JR was not in.
What happened?
JR was not in. At least he's
JR knows. Yeah, that's old school, man. That was in Harlem. It was a short period of time, like the early '90s to the early 2000s, and it was gone. And that shit was straight fucking fire. It was like, for a pinner 0.7 bag, you were paying $30. You're rolling 2 pinner blunts, and that shit got you lit. And there was like that little tickle in the back of your throat every time you hit it. You were coughing. I don't care who the hell you were coughing. I miss that shit.
So do you guys get that piff and some of the hazes over there?
We get whatever we really need to get. That's not the problem. We just it's been good. We love the chronic we get. We get to choose, so it's been nice.
That's cool. So obviously you've devoted a decent amount of your life to weed at this point. It sounds like you kind of work in an industry that's related to weed or periphery, maybe not, but either way, you've spent a decent amount of time on weed, basically. And so what kind of stirred that passion in you? Why is it such a thing? Why did you connect so much to this, do you think?
So I think it was biggest pet peeve is hypocrisy. And growing up, parents being anti. I was an athlete, and I was always told, you smoke weed, you're a bad person, you're going to be a garbage man. That's what your parents tell you to scare you. And the garbage men are great people. So I'm like, why that's a great job. They have union. I don't understand. But seeing all that, and then when I got out into the real world as a baseball player and see all of us were using cannabis for a multitude of reasons, not just to get lit, but for health purposes and healing purposes. And when I saw that, and then people getting arrested all the fucking time for trying to be healthy and trying to do what they felt was right for their bodies, while on the other side you had alcohol that was detrimental. And in my family, we had overdoses from alcohol, a lot of situations, a lot of alcoholics in my family, liver cancers, stuff like that. So I saw the bad side of alcohol. I never saw the bad side of weed that was always told to me. And that kind of why I was always, when it came to be, I went to Amsterdam and all those things, it kind of connected to me. And I'm like, dude, this is what I need to get out there. And spending time in prison was a big fucking eye opener where I'm sitting there like, I don't belong here. And the people in prison were along with me like, this motherfucker, dude, you don't belong here. Let's get him out. How do we get this guy out of here? When the system tells you you don't belong, that's kind of where something has to change. And this was before legalization. You know, I'm all about it in every way, shape, or form. I think we need to have national legalization, not just state legalization. People that are in legalized states need to be loud as fuck about it. That it's not fair that there's parts of the country that have to suffer for, you know, get thrown in jail, kind of like how we are about the abortion issue. If we, it's the same, it's not the same, but when it comes to legalization and how people get treated for being in different areas of the country and not having the access to the things they need access to, it's extremely important that we all have the fucking same thing. So that's why I want to do it. That's why I'm friends with people that do the same thing and push that message out there. I think that's the most important thing. While we're all doing it, we're all normal people living normal lives, have day-to-day jobs, and we're not, you know, lazy stoners that sit in the couch. So that's in essence the name, and why it means GoStoner. Always on the go, always moving, always trying to, you know, do things and make things better.
Cool, I appreciate that.
Now, you mentioned that you were an athlete and you were using cannabis. A lot of people talk about like a hyper focus or getting in a zone. Did you find that when you were using cannabis as an athlete?
I did. I was always a good baseball player, a hitter growing up, but I had my best years once I started smoking. So my junior year of high school is when I started smoking, and that was the year that I did the best and kind of projected myself into being, you know, top in the state and being able to get drafted later in life. And going to college. So it all started there for me. Before that, I was just like, you know, average. I was just like here, kind of great pitcher, not a great hitter. And then it all kind of took off when I was able to smoke weed before games, smoke blunts, and just sit there. And that thing looked like a beach ball. It kind of made life a little better. Not to say it was performance enhancing at all, but it was very mind focusing. I was able to tune out the noise that was around, and having ADHD, that fucking helped.
Yeah,
I'm in the same boat. I have the same issues, and I find that it helps me kind of zone in and focus on things and not try to be so scattered all the time. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's something that we all need access to because of that. You know, I'm a Ritalin kid. I was one of those back in the you know, late 80s, early 90s, where we're just popping them every morning, you know, and being Ritalin zombies. I don't think that's fair that happened, and that continues to happen. You know, we're all popping depression pills and anxiety pills and things like that, and fucking this helps for all that shit.
Right.
Yeah, sleeping pills, insomnia. A lot of people are really having issues with Ambien and that shit, where they're, you know, they take one, it works for a while, then they got to take two and it works for, you know what I mean? And they just keep escalating and not really finding any relief. And I've been smoking cannabis for, shit, I don't know, over 30 years. And every night it knocks me out and I go to sleep and I have a, you know what I mean?
Like a baby, every fucking within 15 minutes, like, see,
yeah, I know. My wife hates it because I can fall asleep in 5 minutes anywhere.
Right, dude. My wife, also a content provider, smokes her face off, and the reason we get it is because of her. She's also the same. Can't sleep. She's just another one that's been like, I hate how you get to sleep so fucking quick. She always has high anxiety, dude. She's always running on a 10.
Yeah, I hear that. We had a couple comments come in on the live chat. We had a question from Chickasaw Moon. They asked, let's see, do you think, is it easier if you hit some wax, if you hit some good wax, is it easier on your lungs through, trying to understand this. I think what they're trying to say is wax easier on your lungs than flour, essentially? When you're hitting wax, like what do you think is easier on your lungs out of all the consumption methods?
Again, temperature has a lot to do with it, right?
Yeah.
So if you're doing low temp dabs, I think that's nice on your lungs, man. That's nice, cool, refreshing. With cannabis, because you're always using at least hemp wick, unless you're vaping, it's harsher on your lungs because you're putting all that heat in there, which is at least over 600 something, fucking crazy. So I think low dabs probably is the way to go, if you can.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the only real pitfall from smoking flower and dabs is the heat, and the heat will, it'll scar your lungs and give you emphysema. So I recommend people, if they're going to use a bong, try to put some ice in it, chill the smoke before it gets to your lungs. If you have lung issues, you should probably be using a volcano or some kind of vaping device, And so I think that if you can avoid the heat, you're fine. So like your recommendations of, if you're going to do a dab, do a low temp dab, because those hot dabs sometimes will bring you to your knees.
That's how we did it.
I know back in the day, we didn't know about counting down and temperature controlled nails. We just fired that shit up and blasted away. And it was incredible. I mean,
go. Like, all right.
Sometimes it take you to your knees.
I like when you see that residual golden goodness at the end, you did it right. When it's brown and dark, you're like, damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you just reminded me of, I remember hearing a story about, I think it was actually when Travis Barker, he was on Joe Rogan, he was talking about how he had to stop smoking weed because he was smoking like 18 or 20 blunts a day or something like that. And it fucked up his throat, basically. And the doctor was like, you can't smoke anymore because you've just like fucked up your throat big time.
That's the one thing. Are you guys blunt guys? Because I'll smoke them, but not like every day. It's not something like I need. What about you?
No, I don't do tobacco or any tobacco products.
Yeah, I'm just a joint guy. I love smoking joints.
Okay. I love a good joint too. Are you a fan of pre-rolls? Because I know people in legal states hate the pre-rolls, but I seem to fucking love a good one.
If you can find a good one.
Yeah, that's the thing, is I'm kind of a compulsive. I have ADD as well, so I'm kind of a compulsive shopper. So my situation is usually buying an eighth, and then especially now because the prices have come down a little bit, I'll add a pre-roll on. So not so much prior to the last couple of years, because joints were coming in at like $12 or $18 a piece, and that's kind of an expensive add-on. But now you can get joints for like $5 to $7 sometimes, in your legal purchase. But that's all to say, like, more often than not, there's not a ton of flavor that comes through. It kind of seems like they're a little samey, you know what I mean? But every once in a while, I will come across a joint where I can actually taste the weed, and those ones definitely stand out for sure.
That's when I get a little fancy, what you're talking about. Whenever I get pre-rolls, I always go for the higher percentage, because I think that tastes flavor, especially the infused ones. I'm a bitch for infused ones.
Yeah. So talk about that, because old school CannaBuzzers have probably heard me bitch about when I tried some infused pre-rolls in the past. This one company here in California where they were infusing them with like fruit terpenes, and it just ended up tasting super weird, and it almost kind of like gave me like a headache. It's kind of felt like.
No way. No, I wouldn't get anything infused like that. Fuck that. No, definitely not terpene infused. Nothing of that shit. Yeah, that's weird. That's like when your buddy used to go to the gas station back in the day and get that blueberry crap and put it in the weed, and then had that scent and be like, yeah, it's blueberry weed.
Right.
Remember that garbage?
Well, I actually, on that note, have you seen Rod is releasing terp spray? Have you seen it? He's posted that a couple times.
No, I haven't seen that. I don't see thing with Instagram. I don't see a lot of the fucking people I follow, and I do follow a shitload, like over 3,000 something people. So it's hard to see everybody. And pages like Raw, like Dab and Granny, people I'm friends with and want to see, I don't get to see a lot just because the algorithm is all fucked up now.
Totally. Yeah, they are making terp spray, and a lot of the stuff that he posts on Instagram, he'll be like, and it's out in stores now, but I don't know like which stores get the latest Raw stuff, but they're selling this terpene spray, and I think it's kind of like more based around effects or taste-ish. I can't remember exactly how they labeled it, but anyways, if for
So
the
you
folks
spray the
out
bud.
there, you would spray your joint is basically what he's saying you would do is you roll it, you spray your joint, let it dry out for like a minute or 10 or I don't know how long, or just some time, and then you can smoke it and it will, add this taste. And, of course they get hate in the comments from probably people like JR who are like, fuck this. But he's saying like, it's especially great if you're smoking the cheap weed, which, I'm not going to hate. I've been there. I've bought the $50 ounces where you're like, what did I just get myself into?
I don't know if I've ever. Yeah, no, I have. Yeah, I have. Sorry, I definitely have. Yeah. Remember brickweed?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were talking about that recently with someone else. I'm going to throw out to the chat if you guys have any more questions. We're coming up towards the end of the hour. We usually try to keep these an hour-ish just to be, respectful of our guest time. So if you have any questions in the chat, please let us know and we'll try to get to them. But shout out to everyone watching. It's super glad to have everyone. And just a shout out too, we'll have this video up on our YouTube channel. So youtube.com/CannaBuzz, as long as the YouTube gods don't take it down, you'll find it. And then of course you can watch it on CannaBuzz as well. But JR, did you have a question, or I can throw out another one for Mr. Stoner?
That's so polite.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, how do you? What kind of stoner music are you really into?
Oh, dude. So it's funny. He mentioned I'm always like playing rock music and shit, and that's true. I love anything that fucking rocks. But really, my favorite band of all time is Dave Matthews Band. That's it. It ends there for me. I love Jack Johnson. All the shit. Through the Roots is a great band. If you guys know them, they're like a ska reggae band. That they're on Instagram if you guys want to check them out. P-Funk North. So anything like with like reggae, ska, horns, sucker for that shit. So that's some good stoner music.
Oh, really?
And this Friday night, I'm going to plug myself if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I have a live podcast that I'm doing called Jammy Time, where I interview musicians on Instagram. It starts at 10 p.m. Eastern. And this week I'm going to have on this guy, Bryce Rogers. He's an up-and-coming folk artist that I met on actually TikTok. And he's really good and great fucking stoner music. So kind of like that, singing songwriter, acoustic stuff. It's really good.
That's really cool.
So is that going to be on your regular GoStoner IG channel?
Yeah, on Instagram, and then I upload an edited version on YouTube like Sunday or Monday. I just started doing it like 2 months ago. I've had Elliot on, which is one of my favorite bands of all time. I don't know if you guys know them. If you don't, please fucking check them out. You'll be like, how the fuck have I never heard of them? Awake at Last, Outlining Color. We're going to have on... in the following week, Last Youth, and I just had on a Marionette. So a bunch of new bands or bands that people might know, and it's been growing. It's been really cool.
Awesome. Yeah, Hazy Hula High. Do you know Hazy Hula High?
I might.
Okay. They said Jammy Time in the chat. That's what I suspected. But yeah, awesome. Yeah. Appreciate the support in the chat for sure.
Thank you, honey.
That's really cool.
Jammy Time is very fun. If you guys want, join. We just get lit. We listen to music. They share their song of the week. Then they share a band that they've been listening to and a song from them. We watch a music video, and then I share like 1 or 2 songs, and then we get out of there.
So, top 3 drummers of all time.
Ooh.
Off the top of your head. And then we'll do last call for questions in the live chat while we have Mr. Stoner list off his top 3 drummers.
So number 1 is Carter Buford. I mentioned Dave Matthews Band. For me, Carter Buford is by all the greatest drummer of all time. He can do anything. Then I'm going to say Neil Peart.
Yeah.
From Rush. Because
Yeah.
how do you not? And it's a toss-up really between Mitch Mitchum from Jimi Hendrix, who people like, really? Mitch?
No,
I think
he's amazing.
Amazing. One of the most underrated drummers of all time. And skipping my mind, the drummer from The Police.
Oh, okay.
Stuart
Copeland?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What he could do on a hi-hat is unmatched from anybody else.
Yeah.
So if you could put all of them together in one drummer, you're my favorite drummer, which actually is the drummer from Shrezzers. If you guys ever heard the band Shrezzers, they're from Russia. They're like thrash, prog metal, jazz rock, 80s vibe music. It's really everything you've ever heard in a band. Definitely check them out. The drummer will blow your fucking mind. He's my favorite drummer of today.
Now, what was their name?
Shrezzers, just like shredding guitar.
Yeah.
Shrezzers. They used to be called Shrezzers Braziers, like the porn thing, but they had to change their name. They're out of Russia. They smoke weed, but they can't say they smoke weed or show that they smoke weed because they're in Russia.
Right. Yeah.
But they're really cool guys, man. Definitely fucking check them out.
Did you watch any of the Taylor Hawkins like tribute or anything? Because as a drummer, that was a pretty awesome.
Yes, that was really special. I did a cover of Rope a long fucking time ago on my old YouTube channel, Smoking Drums. I think he was a very, again, underrated drummer. Was a great beekeeper, very solid. But watching his son play, man, he could really fucking get into it. And I love seeing drummers that just, put it all out there. Break sticks. I was one of those guys that always broke sticks. I have a shitload of cracked cymbals everywhere. It's because, if you don't put it all on the floor and you don't end up sweating, you didn't have a good night.
Play hard.
And it's okay. If you fuck up and you're playing like that, it's okay to fuck up because you were left it all on the floor. Throw a stick, lose a stick. It's okay.
Awesome. Well, really appreciate you hanging out with us tonight, GoStoner. Where should people shout out your website, of course, and where else people should give you a follow or check you out?
So website's GoStoner.com. I have some gear on there. This is actually one of my shirts, legalized. And I'm on Instagram, GoStoner Life, and then GoStoner pretty much everywhere else.
Awesome.
And do you have any cannabis events that you're going to be attending anytime soon?
Not events. I just been going to, I go to concerts, man. And see, I'm not, that's the thing we talked about trends before. I'm not like one of those event guys. Yes, I'll go attend maybe one a year. Like a Champs, I'll try to get to a Champs or something like that, but it's not something I try to get to all the events out there. I'm more like concerts. That's, music is more my side of the fence here.
That's cool. I hear that. Well, what kind of upcoming show? Well, you've got a show coming up. What was that show again? Shout out your show again so that people can...
Jammy Time.
Jammy Time. All right. And then weren't you playing a show as well? Or did I...
I'm not playing a show, no.
Okay.
I just got back from the Furnace Fest, which was a 3-day festival.
Okay.
Of amazing bands like Thrice, Newfound Glory. I'm sure you guys know Newfound Glory. Lex on Fire. So many amazing bands. And then I'm going to go be seeing the early November, October 30th is the next show we're going to be.
Awesome. Well, I'll have to check out Jammy Time. That sounds awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone who's watching on the live stream. Thanks to everyone who's watching on YouTube. You can follow us or subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/CannaBuzz. We'd really appreciate you subscribing there. And you can also watch these live interviews in the future on CannaBuzz. And also watch the recorded version on CannaBuzz as well if you want to hang out and watch your videos on a platform that won't make them randomly disappear. But all right, everyone. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night. Peace.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. See you guys.
Growers love.